Also, while in Cameroon after high school, I was very interested in cybersecurity. So at the time, there was a training center in Cameroon which provided the training. So they had the whole VAPT track. In the VAPT track, you had CH and you had CPEN and the LPT master. So the plan is to go through the entire track because that was the best cybersecurity program you could see in Cameroon at that time, and it was affordable. So that's one of the things which got that made me went for the CPEN. And secondly, when you look at the CPEN, the information about it, so the stuff that really caught my eye was build your scripts, customize and attack. Then it ended with the report writing, which gave me like I need to get this certification. I want to try it out. My experience wasn't really the best. I would say it was quite difficult, like very difficult, because firstly, I was studying on my own. Problems I had to look for solutions on my own because although we had a whole center, after getting the CH, I had to pay for this myself because I never saw any reason in being at the center because they never offered actual training I need. So I went on my own. So I took about 9 months to prepare for the CPEN exam, and it was really challenging because, like I said, any if I had any problem, I had to do my own. And CPEN actually had a lot of things you had to study on your own. Close to 70% of material you had to do your personal research. I understand because it was more like a real life scenario where you encountered problems which you had no solution to. They're trying not to make things standard, but for you to adapt to the current technology. So it was quite difficult, but with the background I had in computer science, I was able to keep trying until I succeeded in in passing the exam at the end. I'll say because of the extreme preparation I did, which lasted for about 9 months. Once I got into the exam, I'll say it was at a medium level because I really did a lot of preparation. For 8 months, I was studying just the material, doing my external research, writing scripts, testing out exploits, repeating the method over and over. And for the 1 month before the actual exam, I had to do a lot of lab. I went through the labs for a very long time, repeatedly every day. That's close to 8 hours per day. I was doing the labs continuously till I mastered every single thing. So I wouldn't say it's any close to medium or easy. It was extremely difficult, but because of the amount of dedication I put in when I came close to the exam, it was at a medium level. And this is always because when you have something that you understand how difficult it is, because once you look at the CPEN information about the exam, you know what you're facing, you know how difficult it's going to be. So you need to be prepared, and you need to be prepared because there are no other options. If you're not prepared, you're going to fail. So yeah, the exam is difficult, very difficult, but because of the preparation I did, and if you're taking the exam with the preparation, it should be medium level. I'll say the first thing I love about the program is it's very challenging. That's the first thing. It brings out the best when it comes to maybe you have coding skills, you have writing research skills, you're passionate about various parts of cybersecurity. You have the free will to explore all these areas and get more in depth in these sectors. The second thing is the material itself doesn't limit you. So when it gives you the material, it doesn't tell you, oh, this is the material for doing this. It's more like this is what is there in the current era, but we advise you to do your research, create your own path, and understand how these things work. You need to understand how they work for you to be a successful penetration tester. And lastly, it actually prepares you for an actual war, because an actual war penetration testing, real war penetration testing, because it has the report writing, which is very critical. If you did an actual assessment, at the end of the day, you want to see the results, and this result is in a report. Without the report, all your work was very useless. So that's the three things that was very important about the CPEN, because after the CH, you don't really get to do the report writing and explore your field. It doesn't give you that opening and that mindset. My lab experience in the CPEN program was not really the best, because I just came from the CH. So before taking the CPEN, I just left from CH and I did the CH practical. And with CH, it was the labs were all done for you. And when I got to the CPEN, the labs were more of this is a lab, this is what you have to do. They take it to a certain level and they dropped it. So it was more like these are the few steps we can give you, but we advise you to do your own research. So it was really challenging because, like I said, I was studying on my own. If there were any problems, I had to do the research on my own. So it was really quite difficult. I never had the best, but after repeating the labs over and over and over and over, I really got acquainted with it, and I was able to understand how to put the dots together, how to do my research and come up with actual information that will help me in proceeding with the labs. And with the labs as well, they had these videos linked to it where you had some sort of an instructor telling you how the labs go. Those videos were really helpful. Like that, those are one of the most important things in the CPEN material so far. The instructor, because he tells you, sometimes he gives you real world explanation of how things work, and it's more of you need to do this yourself. You need to understand this because technology is changing fast. So I'll say that was the best part about lab. But when it comes to the hands-on lab of, let's just say, following the instructions and making things work, especially in the sector of the binary exploitation, that sector was quite difficult because as much as I knew how to code, bash script, read assembly, it was still quite difficult because everything there was not explicit. It was more of this is how we do it, but you need to do your research. So it was quite difficult. The lab in general was quite difficult for me. It was not easy. I would say the CPEN actually benefited my career in a lot of ways. And I'll start first with the knowledge. So after getting the CEH, I was more like, can I really start working with this certification? Do I have the actual skill? And from my own personal view of my experience and where I want to be, I discovered there's no way I'm there yet. So getting the CPEN gave me the courage to be able to do real world penetration testing in any sector, and I also had the courage to go out to some firms that were around and talk as a consultant. So with the CPEN coming, I was able to get 2 extra, I'll call it gigs of what they do, we call it freelancing. I was able to get those 2 freelance opportunities and some exposure as well. So I would say it gave me an opening into the cybersecurity space in a really great way, not just for the money, but for my own personal, I'll say, personal ambitions of being really good in penetration testing. So this is quite interesting because when I was about to get into CPEN, I spoke with I had this friend I was speaking with, and he was, there's OSCP. It will be good if you take this, and there's another one called I think it's called the GPEN. So I was like, no, I need to get the CPEN. I've seen what they are gonna offer, and I really want to get this. So when I got the CPEN, I did a little, research on those other certifications. And one thing that stands out to me is with the CPEN, they're not enforcing things on you. They want you to understand the method, like how do you do things, what steps do you take to do things, what procedures do you follow, because no matter what happens at the end, these steps always remain the same, and technology will keep changing forever. So the CPEN gives you a method to follow, a methodology to follow, a way to research and get what you need to build your exploits or whatever you want to do. And that's something that every education system needs. They need to teach you how to study, how to understand things fast, and not give you material to grasp, understand. Then when things get updated, you need to catch up again, and you need to catch up again with their material which is updated, which is a lot more tedious and not real. It doesn't make sense. So when I checked the other certification, they never had that system. They never focused on that. They were not focused on that. So the CPEN was just perfect. First thing, when I was doing the CH, was I just came into cybersecurity, and coming from a computer science background, I was really interested in taking something that would give me a very high depth of knowledge in penetration testing. Like I wanted to get in big, and the exam itself is called Certified Ethical Hacker. So I was like very passionate about taking the entire course and becoming a certified ethical hacker. First thing, the material was a lot and a lot, and when you discover you have 20 modules, it covers close to nearly everything, and you have the practicals, which the practicals section doesn't go in depth, but it gives you an overview of all the modules, and you're like you understand hacking, you understand the procedures, you understand like basically every single thing. But at the end of the day, when you're done with the certifications and you have it, there's just one thing in your mind: do you really have the skill to go to an enterprise and do a penetration testing on your own? Do you really have the skill? And at the end of the day, you discover, oh, that's definitely a no. Because first thing, you can't do good report writing. You can't do personal research on your own and understand in depth. You don't really understand how things work, and that's one of the things I was really like passionate about. I want to know how everything works. I don't want to just use things or get scripts from somewhere and run. I want to be able to customize everything to what I want and understand if this is happening, I know exactly why it's happening. I don't want things happening when I have no idea why it's happening. So the CH never provided. It gave a broad overview of everything. I mean, you get the knowledge and everything, but it never gave you that real power to build your own stuff, do your own research, do report writing, and have that how do you call it, the courage to actually maybe consult for a business on your own, or work on a personal pen testing on your own. But with the CPEN, you had all this covered, not covered in the sense of in the